What's up, everybody? Let's go ahead and talk some UCLA USC hoops. But first of all, gotta shout out the band I played in that intro. The Mighty Mighty Fishbone, straight out of Los Angeles, California, my city. Still one of the best shows I saw this year, by the way. All right, so UCLA and USC are going bowling this month. Let's see. Do we want to talk about the Pac-12 game? Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm still kind of bummed UCLA didn't win that game, but you know what? Stanford is tough. They are some tough boys, and UCLA made a couple of mistakes. I think the big play that could have happened was Brent Hundley throwing that interception that was returned almost for a touchdown. I think that was probably the big mistake. But you know, you can look at a lot of things. I mean, you can look at UCLA going for a 52-yard field goal that didn't really have much of a chance, and we all kind of knew it. But you can also look at praising things like Jonathan Franklin having a very dominant game on the ground against UCLA because that was something that I did not think was going to happen. I thought Brent Hundley was going to have to run more, but Jonathan Franklin did a masterful job. But I got to give credit to Stanford because Kevin Hogan, to me as their quarterback, did exactly what I thought Brent Hundley was going to do, which was run the ball more. He was a big equalizer, and for a kid that young stepping in like that, taking Stanford to their first Rose Bowl in four decades, I think. Hats to Stanford. You know, good luck. Now I'm rooting for them to beat Wisconsin, who laid the wood to Nebraska. So, with that said, they're going to go to the Holiday Bowl. UCLA is going to the Holiday Bowl. So, they got Baylor. You know what that means, right? If UCLA doesn't score 50 points this game, I will be shocked. Shocked. So, I'll talk more about that game as it gets closer to it. I'm not going to preview that game yet, but I think that's a good spot for them. Best of all, they get to go to San Diego, so they don't have to leave the state, which will be a nice bus ride down there, so they get to enjoy the city. And as I know personally, I think they'll be able to enjoy some fine cuisine, get a little Mexican food in them, try some carne asada fries, and just enjoy being in a great city. So it's not bad. It's not a bad situation for them at all. They get an opponent they can easily beat, and it should be fun. Moving along to USC, they go to the Sun Bowl. They're going to go to El Paso to face Georgia Tech. Okay, that's cool. You know, can't really say too much about that. But we will say that we are proud of Monty Kiffin for being a good dad and falling on the sword for USC instead of making his son choose between calling his dad to fire him or having him forced out. So he did the right thing by forcing him to resign and pursuing other options. What those options are, we don't really know, but at least he fell on the sword, which is what a good daddy's supposed to do. So, again, we'll talk about the game a little bit later. We'll also do some more research, but at least they get to go to a bowl game, which is what they haven't been able to do in 2 years. So, I guess unfinished business means getting to a bowl game at some point. But I really want to try to talk about USC's basketball program, my beloved Bruins on the hardwood, because right now they got problems. And I don't know if they're going to be fixed anytime soon because of who's in charge. And when you have Ben Howland in charge of the program, I really think that there's a problem there. But if I'm honest, let's look at what's wrong with USC. They lost to San Diego State. I expected that. I'm still kind of wondering how they lost to Cal Poly slow, but hey, if they're a good shooting team, that's going to happen. You know, I saw the end of that game, and I still couldn't believe how they lost that game. But it really kind of showed why UCLA is one of the season's biggest disappointments, in my opinion. The big problem for me, no defense. And a Ben Howland team that can't play defense is almost an irony, a cruel irony. And I think that the fact they're going to a 2-3 zone says it all. They have to play zone because nobody can be a great one-on-one defender on the perimeter. The problem with that is you allow three-pointers. That's how Cal Poly SLO beat us. That's how San Diego State beat them. 11 three-pointers by the Aztecs. I mean, it's bad enough when you say we can't guard anybody man-to-man, but it's even worse when you're facing teams that have great shooters. It's like, hey, open season, baby. And that's what's happening. UCLA's playing a 2-3 zone, And it'll work in the preseason. When it gets to the conference, I'm really worried what's going to happen when they face teams like Cal that have two great scorers in Alan Crabb and Justin Cobbs. I'm worried when they're going to face Arizona. Heck, I'm even worried when they face Colorado. I mean, who may have the most underrated backcourt in Askia Booker and Spencer Dinwiddie. So I'm really worried. I think that UCLA is going to have some troubles unless they can really, really work on this 2-3 zone. And that leads to my second thing, chemistry. This is a team that really has only 3 players with any experience from last year. Norman Powell, David, and Travis Ware. And when you have guys who really are just getting to know the program, they're getting to know each other a little bit, they're learning on the fly, you're going to have these kinds of problems. And I think that after 8 games, it's really hard to gauge how good this team is going to be because they really are meshing well. I mean, Jordan Adams is getting his shots, and he's been the biggest surprise of the year for me. I really like his game and the fact that he can score that easily. But the bigger problem is these guys need to finally figure out their roles and settle in them. I think, to me, Shabazz Muhammad's conditioning has to definitely improve, and it's only going to improve as he plays. And there's no way to really kind of ease him into the situation because he's playing heavy minutes right away. He's starting, so he's going to struggle until he gets his conditioning up, and there's no way to kind of ease him in, like I said, because he's going to start. He's playing right away. So that's the big problem. Also, Ben Howland's got to find something to do with Kyle Anderson. I mean, you brought him in there to be a facilitator who's a great perimeter guy who can score and distribute really well, but now you've turned him into your team's best rebounder because he's not getting the ball to do things. I mean, he's in the post, posting up and trying to work out of the post like he's supposed to be in the triangle, but you're not running the triangle. So Kyle Anderson's shot's not falling. He's doing really well as a rebounder, but I think that's not his game. His game is being on the perimeter, setting guys up, getting to the basket, and he's not able to do that. So Ben Howland's got to find a way to utilize him very well, much better than he's using right now. The only bright spot for me is Larry Drew, and even he's got some issues. I've been defending Larry Drew pretty hard because I think that as a facilitator, he's done a job. He's second in the nation in assists. He's averaging what? I lost track of him. He's averaging like over 8 assists per game, good for second in the country. And he's doing his job. He doesn't need to score on this team. He's setting guys up. But the bigger problem I have is that he can't defend anybody. And he can't shoot. So for me, if you look at those two problems, you say, well, he'll take the assists because that's what a point guard's supposed to do. But he's an offensive liability as far as creating his own shot to maybe throw guys off. And he's a defensive liability, which is why they're running the zone. So I really don't know what to say except Ben Howland's days are numbered. I've written about this at Rant Sports, but Ben Howland's days are numbered. He has to find a way to really change his personality a little bit to make these guys play for him, buy into each other, buy into the system. Because right now, this recruiting class that's supposed to save his job, it's going to cost him his job. And I've already said, if UCLA doesn't get to the Sweet 16 this year, he's done. You can't explain it. And with this team, there's no excuse. And like I said, they got 7 guys right now because of 2 guys who left, Tyler Lamb and Josh Smith. So I don't really know what to expect. I don't know what to expect for this UCLA team. And I think that they really need to get their stuff together because Texas is coming to town. I think, no, they're playing Texas. And they got Long Beach State. 2 games they should win. And if they don't, it's going to be a long December, to quote the Counting Crows. So that's all I got. Real quick, I don't know how many more videos we're going to be doing. We're probably going to try to do some more hoops videos once the Pac-12 season starts. Talking about UCLA and USC hoops. But for now, we may not do a video until maybe close to the bowl season unless something comes up. So just stay tuned for that. I'll try to be consistent and keep this up, but we're going to try to find some topics to do for that as well. So other than that, I'm going to post a link to my UCLA story in the description under so you can read that. But until then, we're going to enjoy some more music from a group I'm going to see on Sunday, Blue Scholars. Peace.
Yeah. just a little bit.